Hi, this is Robert with Space Age Consulting, and I'm here to talk to you today about lighting. Now, I say today, but actually, I'm going to be doing a short series on lighting. Why? Because without proper lighting, you don't have a proper video. And I don't always understand lighting. Not to mean I don't know how to get light and use it, but I don't know always the right lighting to use for a particular situation. I do a lot of run and gun, I do a lot of location shooting, and I don't always get to control the light. I also can't always bring a whole slew of lighting where I can set it up and get the exact exposure that I need. I'm not shooting movies. I don't have that time. But what I've learned is that I don't always get the right exposure for the right situation. I don't always have the right light with me, or I don't always know how to arrange it correctly so that I can get the best picture possible. I've had quite a few videos that I've started, gotten back to edit, and realized, my exposure was bad, or I could have really used light in this situation. Now, sometimes I can use DaVinci Resolve and cover up my mistakes, but that's very time consuming. I don't want to do that. I want to be able to get it right the first time. Now, you'll even see that a lot of my videos aren't even done in the same location. So that means I need to know how to set up lighting for every situation I might encounter. And sometimes when I can do a site visit and I might be aware of the limitations of a particular location, I need to know which lights and which light modifiers I need to bring with me so that I can get the right lighting. Now, there's one guy on the internet who I absolutely admire because he knows how to use light tremendously. I'm not going to mention his name because I made a mistake at last year's NAB and I didn't approach him the right way. My fault, not his. But I want to thank him for a couple of different tutorials he's shown on how to use lights, but I can't always get the exact lights that he uses, and I can't always get the environment that he has. So I need to learn how to use the lights that I have and how to use them most effectively. And I have quite a few different kinds of lights. I have a couple of Genere lights, two different kinds in fact. I have a couple of aperture lights. I have a couple of Dracast lights. And I also have some incandescent bulbs using softboxes. So I have quite a different array of lights that I can use in any situation. Some of my lights are bicolor. Some of my lights are only daylight. Some of my lights are changeable. Isn't that what bicolor means? So we have to look at this situation as you have all these lights and we even have the sun. How can we use these most effectively? As you know from my videos, I use a JVC GY-LS300 interchangeable lens camera. It has a Super 35 sensor, a Micro Four Thirds mount, but I use a speed booster and my EF lenses. I always shoot on J-log. J-log is not the same as S-log or V-log. It is not as flat a profile, but it does give me the chance to work with a wider dynamic range than I would using Rec. 709. So I'm sitting in this environment here. I'm using my Aperture AMRAM H528C light, but I'm also allowing daylight in, and I'm also shooting through a wide open window so that we can see real variances in light. Now, what sort of exposure are we trying to get? What are we exposing for? What is the most important thing? That would be my face. It's not the prettiest face in the world, but it's important because I am the focal point of this scene. Now, when you're shooting other scenes, you might expose differently depending on what you're looking at. You can expose for the window if you have something going on outside that window. In this case, it is just something to show a variance in light. As you can see, it's daylight outside. You can see the sun is casting through the window. But when I started this video, I started with the sun streaming right through in this very hard light, and I was overblown. So we have a situation here where exposure is key. Now, for my camera settings, there's an excellent website. It's really 2 different sections long on how to properly set up the camera, the benefits of the camera, and how to set it for exposure, what your settings should be using J-log, your exposure settings, how to use the zebra to match it, how to look at the histogram. All of that is great information. So I'm going to be going through all my lights. I'm going to be going through all the settings. This is really going to be taking quite a while. I don't know yet how long this series is going to run. I have about 8 different lights that I can set up and use, or a combination of lights. So I hope you stick with me through this series as I test out this wider range of lights and the different environments that I might have to use them and how I can best position them. And maybe we can both learn something as I go through this process. So thank you. I look forward to putting out this lighting series, and here's hoping that you see me soon.